Hey guys, welcome back to Katawa Shojou. But before we get into it though, I would like to remind you guys to like the video, comment on it, and make sure to share it to help promote us in the YouTube algorithm. And that being said, let's get back into it. Last time, we spent the festival hanging out with Hanako and Lilly. Shizune was a tad bitter because we spent it contributing to Lily's class food stall instead of my own, but you already know. Lily gives a small sigh as Hanako smiles from their reactions. This seems fairly usual result. How long have you two been playing? Since I was young. Lily nods at Hanako's brief answer. Hanako taught me how to play soon after I met her. I can beat her every now and then, but that's a rarity. I don't seem to have the right mindset for it. If Lily came to Yamaka at the start of high school and met Hanako when she moved into the dorms, that means she'd only been playing for about 1 year. After seeing Hanako's level of play, I'm not too surprised Lily has trouble beating her. But she's better at languages than I am, so... Lily gives an appreciative, if slightly amused smile at Hanako's quick reversal of her compliment. Well, that's how it is. Much to everyone's surprise, the bell suddenly rings, heralding an end to the lunch break. That game lasted longer than I thought it did. Same, I guess we'd rather get back to class. We'd better. Hanako's already in the middle of packing up, so I take Lily's bag and offer it to her. To my surprise, she takes it and nods, but then places it back down on the table. Hisao, may I make a request? Sure, go ahead. Would you mind if I were to feel your face? Oh, no. Go ahead, I don't mind. The question takes me severely off guard. But once I regain my composure, it seems it's sensible enough. So far, Lily has had no idea what I actually look like, and this would be her only way to find out. Lily raises her hand, which I take in mine and guide it to my face before letting go. The room is entirely silent as Lily's hand moves over around my features from my chin to my cheeks to everywhere else. I expect this to feel more disquieting than it does. I probably said that word wrong. I suppose that's because the action is entirely a matter of practically being functionally no different simply looking at someone's face. Her hand is soft, but what takes me by surprise is by the length of her fingers, not to mention how sure even though the slightest movements are. I have no doubt that her level of tactile feeling would be far beyond mine. Her hand briefly runs through my hair before retreating. I'm sure that every inch of my face has been committed to her memory. It's only now, too, that I realize Hanako has been silently watching the entire time. Thank you for letting me do that, Hisao. And if I might add, I think you're quite handsome. I blush a little at her remark before raising a questioning eyebrow. But if you can't see how, just because I can't see doesn't mean I don't have my own preferences. We'd better go now. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I will see you later then, Lily. Dude, that face she makes is like super adorable, man. Lily. Walking through the hallways back to our classrooms, I notice that Hanako seems quieter than before, but also more comfortable. Lily, her hand on Hanako's shoulder, seems to pick up on her assured pace as well as smiling as they walk. If I could spend the rest of my time at Yamaku like this, I don't think it'd be so bad at all. All that's needed for joy are small exchanges of happiness, after all. As I reach my desk and set my bag inside it, I realize something, or rather, my stomach does. I was so busy with those two, I forgot to buy lunch. Rip bozo. Saturday, my second most favorite day of the week. This almost entirely due to the fact that the day with the second least amount of school, with class ending at the beginning of lunch. I opened my door confidently with myself being more than confident, being able to get enjoyment out of the fine weather and a shorter class length. I confidently stride down the hallway and down the stairs to the lobby of the male dorms. You guys think he's confident? I confidently look behind me, see his footsteps are approaching. I lose my confidence in this day being enjoyable. Hey man, sup? Not much. I guess I'm just looking forward to the afternoon. You? He wraps his arm around my slumped shoulders far too comfortably. Something's up. Let's step outside, shall we? I was just about to before you stopped me. He doesn't take my reaction to his theatrics well. Ignoring him, I walk outside and start down the steps. It doesn't take too long for him to catch up with me again. I wonder if he wants money or a rant about some conspiracy. Maybe both. I've got a bone to pick with you. Uh-huh. It's about that blonde. You know who I'm talking about. Conspiracy it is. For a moment I contemplate feigning ignorance, but realize this will go quicker if I just let him get it all out. Lilly, the one from your class? You're on first name terms with her? He looks positively shocked at this development. Did he not expect me to be able to answer? He gathers himself and coughs to his fizz dramatically like everything he does. Well, never mind that. I'm here to warn you, man to man. Warn me? About what, Lilly? Yeah, you don't know her, man. It's mostly true. I've only known her and Hanako for less than 2 weeks, and even then we've just been exchanging banal, chatter about school while at, at, as we while away lunch. Pretty sure you don't either. That's not the point. You're the one who's spending inordinate amounts of time with her. It distresses me that someone like Kenji, who's probably far out of the loop as one could possibly get, knows so about such trivial facts as who I choose to befriend. Then again, I am a transfer student, and she's not only the representative of their class, but also a tall blonde. Maybe I should appreciate this ranting as a warning that rumor mill exists at this school, that I'm firmly within it. It's just lunch, nothing special. Look, man, under the bridge. See, this is the bridge. You're under it. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do to get intel. I just want to make sure you don't end up too far under the bridge. You're losing me, Kenji. That's okay, lots of people get lost. That's why I'm here to help. Just be careful around her, okay? She looks all harmless on the outside, but I've heard shit. Bad shit. Given that she, to be honest, Given that she has no accent and acts perfectly Japanese, I suppose it never really seemed important. Now that he mentions it, though, I'm rather curious. To be honest, I don't know, maybe English. They like tea. I probably shouldn't resort to stereotypes, but that's the only lead I have. You're not thinking. Luckily, you have me here to think for you. Gee, thanks. He brushes off the quip effortlessly. Now answer me this. Who has lots of social power, is filthy stinking rich, you know, blondes are all rich, right? And has a long history of disputes, used to belong to a much larger organization, the Roman Catholic Church? Well, okay, there's that. But there's also the Mafia, come on, rich, foreign, there's no way she doesn't have connections to them. I have reason to doubt the logic of his deductions, but he shows no sign of stopping. So, do you know where I think she's from? Italy? Mainland Italy, small time, dude. She's gotta be from Sicily. All those mafioso types come from there. Wait, no, Russia. Damn, this could be bad. The Mafia there are serious business, man. Ex-KGB everywhere. Paramilitaries? Hardcore smuggling and... Wait, stop! Wait, stop! Just slow down a sec. What point are you trying to get at here? You don't know what she'll do, man. I won't get in the way. Agents don't operate like that. But I want you to be careful. When the time comes, I'll need all the help we can get. I don't want you to lose you, comrade. Well, at least he's concerned for me. Kinda. I wave goodbye to him as we separate out our respective classes, but I'm not sure that he sees the gesture. Interesting little footnote. This game came from 4chan, of all places. You believe that shit? Like, one of the most wholesome games I've played in a long time, and it came from 4chan, of all places. As I open my bag and shove the books through the return slots from counter, I notice a strange person behind the desk, old and graying. She must be Yuko's replacement when she's working at the cafe. I begin looking for a free table, a task made somewhat difficult considering that despite there not being many students in here, they're all sitting at their own tables. Noticing a familiar head of hair, I walk over to one of them near the braille section. It's hard to tell whether Lily's concentrating hard or not. Her placid expression holding perfectly still, her finger slides across the dot-filled pages of her book. Hi, mind if I sit here? Oh, no problem at all. She trails off, evidently still focused on her business at hand. Ah, Hisao. She gives a nod of greeting as I sit opposite her at the table. Pluck a chemistry textbook out of my bag and quickly thumb to the chapter we're covering in class. For a while, we sit here and read each in our own way. Seeing her reminds me of what Kenji said about this morning, though. That and the fact that I've never seen someone read in Braille before, it makes me keep throwing glances at her. I kind of feel guilty about it, given that she has no way to realize I'm doing so I decide to ask her about it. Her lineage isn't exactly a state secret after all, and there's another thing I've only just noticed from her movements. Hey Lily, mind if I ask a question? Not at all. Is anything wrong? I was just wondering, you're at least part foreign, right? She gives a small giggle before setting down her book. I've always been amused how squeamish people are about that. Akira's mentioned how much he and I look different from most others before. The details are a bit complicated, but I'm half Japanese, half Scottish. Not really. I mean, your mom's one of your parents is Scottish, the other's Japanese. They porked, and then your sister and you came into existence. That's it. Scottish, that's not exactly my first guess. It takes some effort not to blurt it out. I try to conjure images of the place in my mind. I think that's as far as the UK goes. Scotland isn't a bad to live in. But I'm not really sure. My first guess of England was surprisingly close. At least geographically. Damn, I never realized how many big words this game uses. That does leave another question, though. But you have no assent. That's where the details begin. I was born and raised in Japan, despite my mother being foreign. Ah, I get it. Hold on. If she moved to the dorms due to Akira working long hours, so they don't live near the school. She gives a small sigh, as she didn't expect me to go any deeper. Was her previous frankless just a front? Franklessness? Not exactly. It's been a long time since we've actually met. I feel like I'm not getting the whole story, but I don't really want to go on dully prying into her situation. Her about face shows she feels kind of awkward about it. So, do you speak much English? To be honest, I don't know that much about Scotland, but at least I know that that's the main language there. It takes her a moment to collect herself, appreciating the change of topic. That's right. My family mostly used Japanese around the house when I was young, but they made sure Akira and I knew our Scottish side just as well. I'm fluent in the language, but I'm also studying it in school to keep my skills up and to have the qualifications on paper mainly. So you're bilingual. That's pretty impressive. I wouldn't go that far. Having parents who speak the language is a large advantage, and the English books and bro aren't too hard to buy or import, with Yuko's help at least. There's relatively high demand for local English teachers here anyway, also gives which also helps give me some motivation to learn it well. Demand for English teachers? For a moment, I wonder why she brought this up. You're planning to be an English teacher? She gives an enthusiastic nod. It must be nice having such a definite future in mind. I've never really given much thought to mine, so I'm kind of envious. Hmm? What's wrong? It's just, I could see you as a teacher pretty easily. It suits you. For a moment, she's speechless. She lowers her face a little, lets out a nervous giggle, something I've never seen her do before. With Lily's role as a class representative and her dependable nature, teaching does seem to be in line of work fitting her personality. Sorry, that was probably a little much. It's true though. Waving her hand in front of her face dismissively, she quickly recovers. It's not that, it's just only one person's ever said that to me before. A short, somewhat awkward silence follows the discussion. Without knowing it, I ended up steering into a troublesome topic again. I I should try to cheer her up a little. It was me who went and got her brooding after all. Want to go grab some lunch at the cafeteria after this? It might perk her up a bit, or at least take her mind off the apparently complicated family situation. Going by her smile, it seems to have the intended effect. I appreciate the thought, but the food there. Quick redirection from the conversation. She does have a point, though. The food there isn't quite the greatest. Maybe the Shanghai? We could ask Hanako if she wants to come as well. Ah, what is it? I almost forgot to remind me, but Hanako's birthday's coming up soon, and I was going to go shopping in the city for a present tomorrow. If that's an invitation, I'd be happy to accompany you. The ability to get more used to the layout of the city would probably be a good thing. I have barely set foot in there, so I'd be hopelessly lost by myself. She gives a nod, signaling that she happily approves of this plan for Sunday. We eventually get back to her books though. Before I begin reading again, I steal one last glance at her. Maybe I've been thinking about my situation too much. After all, everyone here would have their own unique circumstances. The chance to get outside and clear my head will probably do me good. Man, it's been a bit since I recorded it. My allergies have been acting up. It's irritating. Although I took some allergy medication before recording, though. It's strange. Having lived in a metropolitan city before my accident, this should feel more than natural than Yamaku and the surrounding town ever could. Yet it feels foreign somehow. The elevated walkways and tall buildings, each adorned with billboards taller than any three people, didn't do anything to distract me from the passing crowd's reactions. Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, the other hand holding her cane, which taps the ground with a metronome-like steadiness. Looking over to her, that natural smile of hers still holds. Having only seen her in the school uniform, I'd not have recognized her as she sat on the bench waiting for me to come, if not for her cane propped up against her distinctive hair. Wait, why did I say chair? I can't tell whether Lily is glancing at her due to her height, her foreign looks, her obvious blindness, or all three. Not that any of those would make any of the situation any less comfortable, that is. Do you have any ideas where to look first, Hisao? Her soft voice breaks me out of my line of thought. I can't imagine she's failing to notice the attention she garners, but she seems unfazed by it. I get that she feels she's the type to enjoy walking outside, so she might be used to it by now. Not really, this is my first time in this city, so I got no idea where to go. She furrows her brow in thought, planning a route for us to take, and then come to think of it, a way to communicate it. Something I've noticed in time I've been with her is how when deep in thought, she lacks close to any form of body language to show it. Her expression may change, but no hint of movement shows. She seems to have a little in the way of sweeping physical gestures in general, though, so I've assumed it's part of her reserved nature. Is there a large electronics store near here? I take a quick look around, mostly finding clothing stores. After a few seconds, I notice a store with a bright blue neon sign distance away that fits her description. Would have never pegged Hanako as a gamer. Yep, it's just a bit ahead of us. Should we go in that direction? Thankfully, it's just the information she needed. With a nod, we start off and head towards Lily's unknown destination landmarks being our guide. I used to live further north where there'd be plenty of snow to play in, so it's a little nostalgic. I don't like the heat very much either. You and me both. At least you can wear a skirt, don't complain about that. She gives an amused giggle as we both get back to finishing off our already melting cones. I idly sit and watch the crowds going by as we eat, catching the bits and pieces of conversation. Looking at Lily, I see her dutifully licking her ice cream from top downwards, blissfully ignore the fact that it's beginning to melt. It's melting. Where? Down a bit? She lowers her mouth to the top of the cone and no idea where her ice cream is dripping. What follows through a game of guiding her left and right till she finally finds it. To any onlooker, it must have been absolutely bizarre. A girl with her eyes closed, turning her cone over and over as the guy next to her gives her instructions. A strange variant of childhood blindfold games, maybe. In good time, we finally finish our treats, and while the away the time conversing casually. Caught mid-sentence, Lily perks her head in the trademark manner. It's an unmistakable sign that something's caught her attention. Ah, what is it? It's Akira somewhere over there. I think I heard her. I raise an eyebrow as I look in that direction she's facing, somewhat doubtful of her ability to pick up Akira's lone voice in the dim. Sure enough, though, a blonde girl in a suit can be seen through the tiny gaps between people walking every which way. I raise a hand and wave, trying to catch her attention. Sato! Hey, Sato! Probably butchered the fuck out of that too, honestly. She drops her head and looks towards me. She stops in her tracks and looks towards me, evidently noticing my calls. As she does, she notices someone walking beside her. I can't get a good look at whoever it is, though, before the two begin walking towards where we are. As they reach us, Lily and I stand and dust ourselves off. Akira? Hey, you two! She nods towards me, a gesture which I quickly return. My gaze shifts toward the young girl next to her, and our eyes meet. As they do, Akira plops a hand under her head, a move which doesn't seem to faze her. I don't believe we met. I'm Hideki. Hideaki? I don't know. I've always called him Hideki. Someone's bound to correct me, be it when this goes up or in the future. Hiso, a guy's name, huh? I guess I just dodged a bullet there. He bows, somewhat restrained by Akira's hand being on his head. Oh, Aki is here too? Are you well? Akira's been taking very good care of me, thank you. Akira grins to affirm the point and rubs his head dragging around a circular motion, his dreary face staring is somewhat amusing. Uncle's out on business again, so I'm taking him around town for today. I'd have preferred spending the day on a date with my boyfriend, but... Hideki gives a cough to try to redirect Akira's thoughts. As he does, though, I find mine wandering. They're related, and further, as first cousins? I suppose that explains why she's taking care of him in any case. Come to think of it, Hideki, how do you know my name? Akira told me. Being a Yamaku student, I suppose you're disabled in some way? Not everybody in Yamaku is disabled, which I only learned a handful of days ago. I give a silent thanks to Shizune and Misha for their stream of information about how the school works. Because of them, I found out since the school will accept practically anybody suffering from non-ailment disabilities, it doesn't discriminate against healthy people either. It seems unlikely that many in good health would enroll there, though. While the standard of education is pretty high, it's extremely isolated and very much focused on helping disabled students. You're dodging the question. Damn, he's sharp. Before I can say another word, though, he decides to take a stab at it himself. If I were to call it myself your heart... Fuck, this kid's sharp. Akira looks mildly curious at me. Her interest piqued as well. That sure is a lucky guess. How did you... You show no missing limbs and deformities, and external disabilities are out. Considering the lack of any strange mannerism, it's unlikely that you'd have any mental disability. But Yamaku doesn't take mentally disabled students. I know. Leaving that aside, the only possibility left is internal disabilities. I didn't know which one you might bear, so I guessed correctly, as it turns out, and your reaction confirmed my guess. More than a little bemused, I look to Akira. He grins and shrugs, obviously taking some enjoyment out of her partner's deductions. His sharp eyes, but more a little unsympathetic, logical, but lacking in tact. His attitude reminds me of Shizune in a way, as do his looks. May I ask why you're staring at me? Surely I'm not that unusual a specimen. Does he not know how unusual he looks? I could overlook the spats and clothing as just being coincidental, but a ribbon in his hair is really too much. That's entirely beside the point, though. Sorry, you just remind me of somebody. Akira gives a sharp jab with her elbow. Told you you're not so much different from her. He coughs into his hand to try and maintain an uptight and serious manner. Well, with that being said, that's all the time that I have for now. But before I end things off, though, I'd like to remind you guys to like the video, comment, and share it. Also, why not join the community Discord? It's completely free to join, and it's steadily growing. And follow my socials. I'm more active on my Twitter nowadays and my socials. That being said, I'll see you guys next time where we will continue shopping for Hanako's birthday present. See ya.